In the heart of bustling casino, where ambition and desperation dance in the streets like the wind through market stalls, a young village girl named Effie arrived with nothing but hope, a worn-out bag, and the spirit of a survivor. She had left her small village of Oburam with one goal, to find greener pastures and send something back home. Effie found work as a head porter, carrying heavy goods for shoppers in Central Market. Life was hard, her feet ached, her back bruised, and her soul tired, but she never stopped smiling. She believed life owed her nothing, but she would earn her future. One fateful afternoon, she helped an elderly woman with her numerous shopping bags. Unlike most customers, this woman, Madame Hannah, looked her in the eye, thanked her kindly, and even bought her lunch. It became a regular pattern. Over time, Effie would help her carry goods, visit her at home, clean and cook. Madame Hannah had never married. She had no children, and her siblings only called her when they needed money. She saw in Effie not just a helper but a daughter, loyal, honest, grateful. And Effie served her with the kind of dedication money couldn't buy. When Madame Hannah's health began to decline, it was Effie who fed her, bathed her, sang to her, and sat beside her bed in prayer when she could barely speak. On her deathbed, Madame Hannah called her lawyer and rewrote her will. When Madame Hannah passed away, her relatives, now dressed in black and false tears, appeared like vultures. But the will was airtight, everything went to Effie. The mansion, real estate investments, 2 cars, and a substantial fortune in the bank. The relatives were livid. They left in fury, some throwing insults, others begging. But Effie, still humble, quietly mourned the woman who gave her a second chance. With wise counsel and restraint, she kept a low profile. Though she lacked formal education, she had a strong sense of people and judgment. She hired accountants, managed her properties well, and even began sponsoring other village girls who came to the city. Then came the suitors, slick men with fake smiles and practice compliments. But she saw through them all. Until she met K2. K2 was different. He met her in a supermarket where he paid for her groceries before she could argue. He didn't gawk at her car or ask about her estate. He talked about books, values, village life. Their friendship grew organically. He didn't rush her, didn't flatter unnecessarily. And slowly, she let her guard down. They dated for a year and married in a quiet but beautiful ceremony. Effie felt like she had it all. 6 months into the marriage, K2 suggested they downsize. "It's just us," he said. "This mansion is too large, and the maintenance costs are ridiculous." She agreed. They sold the mansion and moved into a smaller, elegant home. The rest of the money, a large sum, he put away in an account for future projects. She trusted him. Shortly after, he brought home a friend, Lawan, supposedly an old friend just back from Europe. But Effie felt it, something was off. Lawan's presence stretched from days to weeks, to months. He was always around, inserting himself into every conversation. Her complaints were brushed off. "He's like a brother to me." Soon, Lawan began acting inappropriately, lingering too long, making harmless jokes, touching her shoulder unnecessarily. She felt uncomfortable. When K2 left for a business trip, Lawan stayed. He became oddly helpful, fixing things, washing her car, even cooking. When she voiced concern, K2 dismissed her, "He'll be gone soon. He's family." One night, Lawan collapsed. Effie rushed him to the hospital. The bill was high. She paid without blinking, and stayed by his side the whole time. After Lawan recovered, he sat her down. "I owe you the truth," he said, eyes downcast. And then came the thunderclap. K2 was never who he claimed to be. Madame Hannah's furious relatives had planted him in her life. They hired private investigators, gathered intel, and paid K2 handsomely to seduce and marry her. The plan? Gain her trust, sell her properties, and transfer the wealth subtly. Lawan was part of it too. His role? Seduce her while K2 was away. A hidden camera had been planted in the living room to capture an affair. With this, K2 would file for divorce and claim infidelity, legally taking half or more of the estate. But Lawan fell ill, a twist of fate that changed his heart. Effie's compassion broke him. He couldn't go through with it. He begged for her forgiveness and promised to help her expose them. Effie sat in the living room after Lawan's confession, her hands trembling as the truth crashed down on her like a waterfall. Her entire marriage, her supposed fairy tale, was a calculated lie, engineered by people who saw her not as a person, but as a gate to riches. She could have fallen apart. She could have thrown Lawan out. But years of hardship had taught her to act with her head, not her emotions. She stood slowly, and for the first time, looked Lawan dead in the eyes. If you truly regret it, then help me end this. Let's trap the spider in his own web. Lawan agreed. He was in too deep, and he knew it. But part of him genuinely wanted to make things right. Together, they planned a fake confrontation, one that would trigger the hidden camera. One afternoon, when the house was quiet, Effie yelled loudly at Lawan in the living room. "I'm a married woman. You've crossed a line. You've overstayed your welcome, get out." Lawan stormed out, slamming the door. But not before shouting. "I thought you wanted something real. Fine. I'll leave." This outburst, complete with emotional drama, was recorded on the hidden camera, the exact footage K2 expected, except now, it painted Lawan as the aggressor, and Effie as the victim. Lawan removed the SD card from the hidden recorder that night and replaced it with a new one. Now came the most delicate part, convincing K2 to return, before he grew suspicious that things were taking too long. Lawan, with decades of smooth-talking experience, called K2 using an encrypted app. "Bro, the plan worked, she's warming up." Took a while, but she let her guard down. "We've gotten close, real close. But something strange happened yesterday. I think I saw her writing down your bank details. Maybe she suspects something." He paused. "If I were you, I'd come back and take control before she changes the locks or moves the money." K2's greed outweighed his caution. He booked a flight for the next day. Effie worked fast. Her lawyer helped her gather all the paperwork, the original house deed, proof of funds transfer into K2's private account, and audio clips from Lawan's phone that confirmed the setup. They printed K2's bank transaction logs, proving he diverted over 80% of the mansion's proceeds to an offshore account under his name alone, despite telling Effie it was for joint investments. Lawan gave up a second phone used solely for secret communications with K2. The messages were clear. "As soon as we catch her in the act, I'm filing for divorce and taking half, maybe more. Make her fall. Bro, don't fail me. No one will ever believe she's innocent when we show that footage." Effie's lawyer contacted a private investigator to backtrace the paper trail. Everything lined up. But Effie didn't stop there. She had the SD card with the fake confrontation, but also secretly installed her own hidden camera, capturing the audio of Lawan's confession and his inappropriate advances during K2's absence, just in case. K2 returned to the house smiling, self-assured, expecting victory. Lawan welcomed him with a hug and whispered, "The trap's set. She has no idea." Effie welcomed K2 warmly. She made his favorite jollof rice with grilled chicken and even served him with a quiet grace. That night, she suggested, "I've been thinking about that investment project you mentioned. Maybe it's time we met with my lawyer. I want us to do it properly." K2, thinking she'd finally cracked under the guilt, agreed. The next day, Kato arrived at the lawyer's office with Lawan beside him, wearing a smug grin. But instead of documents, the lawyer turned on a screen. Video 1, Kato's voice messages to Lawan, the plot to seduce and trap her. Video 2, Lawan confessing everything to Effie, naming Kato and the greedy relatives as the masterminds. Video 3, Effie shouting at you to leave, proof of her innocence. Bank records, showing the diversion of estate funds. Kato turned to Lawan in shock. "You set me up?" Lawan didn't flinch. "No. You set up a good woman to lose everything. I just decided not to be the devil's puppet." Effie looked at Kato, not with anger, but quiet strength. "You came to take what you didn't earn. But I worked for this life. I gave love freely. And now, I will protect it." Kato was charged with fraud, conspiracy, and theft. The court froze his accounts and ordered restitution. The relatives who funded the plot were also exposed and shamed publicly. Lawan, for his cooperation, was spared prison but ordered to pay a fine. He later left the country, ashamed but changed. Effie didn't celebrate. She didn't gloat. When asked how she remained strong through it all, she said, "When your heart is pure, your steps are guided. I was never alone. My tears built the woman you see today. Loyalty is not found in blood but in spirit. True character is revealed not when you're watched, but when you're trusted." Effie inherited more than a fortune. She inherited wisdom through pain, clarity through betrayal, and a voice to inspire thousands. Greed plots. Love serves. Wisdom wins. Don't mistake silence for ignorance or humility for weakness. Even a village girl who once carried baskets on her head can carry the weight of justice on her shoulders. What is your takeaway from Effie's story? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that entertain, inspire and uplift.